a Monday morning, bright Monday morning here in the Spice Isle. Good morning, everybody. I'm George Grant saying thank you very much for joining us and welcome to another edition of Gudday Grenada as we launch into a brand new week here in this beautiful little rock which God has given to us. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for joining me. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Wasn't bad. No rain, no snow, no sleet, no hail, huh? But many of you spent time with a family, which I trust was as precious, and that you're ready to take on the world this brand new week. This morning, it seems to happen that things always happen, go a little bit differently, huh? At least from time to time, and this morning is one of those mornings. We have a lot of stuff for you this morning. A lot of stuff this morning. So let's quickly take a look at the rundown and see what's going on here this morning. A lot of videos, by the way. First of all, we're going to provide an update for you on the beach erosion that's taking place out in Sauteurs. Boy, this is kind of scary, eh? I was out there some time ago, took a look, and I was concerned even then. I think it was probably back in October of last year. Didn't look too good. And a couple of days ago, somebody sent me a video which shows some of the devastation that's taking place up there. We'll take a look at that. We also have an inspirational for you this morning. You notice that inspirationals are becoming a very regular part of this program? Yeah. I want to inspire people. I really want to inspire people. And from what I've heard, there are lots of you who do appreciate that. We're also going to bring you another edition of Black Makers of History. This morning, Dr. Robert Rashford, yeah man, another space cadet, if you will. As Margaret continues her commemoration of Black History Month, which is winding down. Can you believe it? I mean, this week's the last week of Black History Month, and boy, have we learned a lot. And I am so overwhelmed by the response that I've seen from you folks to the pieces that she's done. So thank you, and thank you, Margaret, for the work that you put into it. This lady stays up late at night. She has a daytime job, but she stays up late at night and does the stuff. And knowing Margaret as I do, I wouldn't be too surprised if sometimes on the job, maybe a coffee break or whatever, she does a little bit of research and editing and what have you. So, Black Makers of History, again, this morning. Now, on February 1st and 2nd of this year, of this month, the Grenada Sailing Festival had another edition of its Work-boat Regatta. And the folks down at True Blue put together a couple of pieces. It's fun. No talking in the videos, they're both very short. No talking, but I think when you look at these videos, you'll get an idea of the excitement that is always present at these workboat regattas. So I say thank you to Ati down at True Blue who put these together. This guy, he loves photography. Not only that, but Russ Fielding down at True Blue. Russ is the owner-manager of that property. He has a drone, which, by the way, he allowed us to use when we went up to Sauteurs to show the erosion that's taking place there. And Artie loves using that drone. Yeah, I keep telling him when I grow up I want to get one of those, man. I could have a hell of a lot of fun. And then we do have something that's going to put a smile on your face. Again, this piece is so short that I just may run it twice. We'll see, okay? It's captioned here on the rundown, beach coins will attract your attention. I am not going to go into any details now about that little piece, but suffice to say, you are going to smile when you see it. Okay, it's funny stuff. Yeah, man, we do have the national report for you this morning, as we usually do. And the reason why I said things are going to be a little bit different this morning is because we're not going to have an edition of Fiscal Alert today. We're missing another edition. And that's because the folks have been having some internet problems. The Bain sisters, Laurel and Gemma and Janice. But I was in touch with them yesterday. And they have promised faithfully that they will be back with us next Monday, March 2nd, okay? So Fiscal Alert hasn't gone anywhere. It's just that it's nothing new. I don't have to break this news to you. Both of the internet providers here have been having a lot of problems with the service they provide. And this was no exception. This past week was no exception. So, Fiscal Alert returns next week. Hang on a sec here, hang on. Yeah, that's your rundown on this Monday morning, okay? Now, will you guys give me a break? Someone sent me some video footage of the continued beach erosion which is taking place out there in Sauteurs. You may recall, I think it was sometime in October last year, we paid a visit to the site and showed you what's actually happening out there. Well, I want you to listen to the narrative that goes with the video I'm about to show you. It's a very short piece, but it gives you a pretty good idea of what's happening at that beach. So, without further ado, here goes.
Guys, this is an update. This is an update of the situation on the beach in Sauteurs. This is an update of the situation on the beach in Sauteurs. You are looking at Sauteurs Beach, which was all dry sand 3 years ago. From low water mark to high water mark was all dry sand. Now we have no dry sand, but waves. Waves that slowly eating away the sand, waves that slowly causing the grape trees and coconut trees to fall down. Waves that slowly taking away land space and endangering houses. If you look clearly, you will see there are some houses that are not too far away from the danger zone. And these are houses that have been built. At least one of them been standing there for about close to 100 years. But now that house is in danger of maybe being destroyed by this. We may wonder what causing that. But this problem started no more than 2.5 years ago. So we have to see how far it goes. But right now it's a dangerous situation. from the banks, which you are looking at, towards the sea. 3 years ago, there was land space at least 50 feet wide. Now there is no land space, just water. So when you look at the length of the beach, and you do an estimate, I'm sure we lost over 50,000 square feet of land space within the last 2.5 years. And today, February the 18th, 2020, is just like the beginning of what might happen. Because if this thing started 2.5 years ago and it continues, who knows how far the water would reach. Some folks are wondering where would they relocate to? I guess they have nowhere else to go. They are just sitting here waiting for the sea to come and throw down their houses. This is all for now. As I say, this is just an update. I hope people take this seriously. We gotta do something about it before it's too late. That's all for now.
Kind of scary, isn't it? Kind of scary. You might recall when we showed you that video, I think it was back in October of last year. There's somebody who built like a little shop. I mean, it's not even as big as this room here. Little shop he built on the side of the road right next to the beach. And even back then I was concerned about what the water would eventually do to it. It seemed like just a matter of time before that was gone. And there are times, at certain times of the year when the seas get a little bit rough, the water actually crosses the road. Yeah, it's sad. Anyhow, let me pause here for a minute. Take a look at who did this morning. Good morning, Anthea. You're making it a habit, girl. Anthea is up there first this morning. Thank you very much, ma'am, for joining us. Peter Bishop saying good morning. And he also says that she has done a great job. I guess Peter is referring to the work that Margaret has done. Well, you're going to see her most recent job, which she sent out to me yesterday. You're going to see that in just a wee bit. Kipling Francis saying good morning to y'all. And guess who's there? The lady who should be sitting in that chair here on Wednesday morning. By the way, Sharon, thank you so much for filling in for Ray, for switching, your Wednesday appearance with Ray. Hope he doesn't call on you again tomorrow. But she's been doing that for the past couple of weeks, and we really do appreciate it. Always so enjoy having you with us. I see that Paul Richards with us, and Margaret's also with us. Anthony DeRiggs is with us. Mr. Langine, good morning to you, sir. What does he say here? Good morning, brother, and wishing you a happy Monday. And all those loyal listeners, aren't they loyal? Aren't they loyal? Thank you guys so much. Ev McIn, I haven't seen this person before. Ev McIn, M-C-I-N. That's an unusual name. I haven't seen that one before. Anyhow, welcome, Ev. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. Ron Jabon says, let's thank God for another day. Up here, and up here meaning in Orlando, Florida, he says it's sunny, and they're expecting a high today of 78 degrees. That's my kind of weather, Ryan. My kind of weather. That's why I so enjoy autumn. And the low tonight of 54. That's Fahrenheit, by the way. And then he goes on to say, Grenada Sauteurs beach erosion by the vicious seas is troubling. Yeah, it is. I don't know what can be done. There's all sorts of speculation as to why that is happening. I do believe that one of the reasons for that is because the whole world is experiencing issues with rising sea levels. Then again, there's some who are pointing to the breakwater, which was built up there in Sauteurs a couple of years ago. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, and I'm not going to proclaim that I have the answer to that question. Sharon Roberts says, water will find its level, so this is a very serious problem indeed. It is, Cher, it is. I don't know. I don't know. Ryan is suggesting build a seawall. Yeah. Ryan, dinero. So much we need to do in this place, you know. I don't think we'll ever have all the financial resources we need to do all the things that need to be done. But I must also be very honest with you. If we stop squandering a lot of the resources that we have, we will be able to do a lot more than we are currently doing. And I sure hope that none of you are sitting there saying, what does he mean squandering? Folks, a lot of money has disappeared in this country. Evaporated. Yeah? You know what I'm talking about if you want to be honest. Harry Gibson. Hey, Harry, just a few minutes ago I was running through Facebook and I came across some more of those inspirationals. I see you're making a habit of it, man. Harry is, every day, he puts something inspiring on Facebook. Something which makes you close your eyes and say, thank God, I have hope. Thanks, Harry. It's not falling on deaf ears. I should say they are not falling on deaf ears. Because, yeah, he's been putting a lot of stuff there, a lot. Keep it up, bro. Keep it up. I hope to see you soon. T.F. Richard says the alternative is to lose the beach and put sea defense. Sad, but true. You know, I'm afraid we're going to lose the beach, TF. I'm afraid. And by the way, it's not the only beach where this is happening. Sometime last year, I was taken on a tour around the island to see some of the indiscriminate dumping of wrecked vehicles. And one of the places we stopped, not to see vehicles, but to see the erosion that was taking place, Telescope. Telescope is a beach where I pretty much grew up. I grew up in Grenville, and Thursdays being a half day, at the time, I don't know if it still is, but back in those days, it was a half day. And my dad, my brother, and I saddle up every Thursday afternoon, and sometimes even on Sunday mornings. Sundays we usually went to the Pearls Beach, but on Thursdays we went to Telescope. Yeah, Telescope has, I wouldn't say it's ever been a premier beach, okay? But I'll tell you, what's left of it was a whole lot better when I was kiddie. Okay, let's see here. Anthony Howard says, yes, George, we need to do better with our finances. Absolutely, Anthony. Looks like we might have to get you down here with a big stick. Keep people in shape. Yeah. I know that one of the things on your mind is the indiscriminate dumping of waste from the yachts, which are anchored off where the Islander Hotel used to be. Yeah? right at the mouth of the harbor here in St. George. And let's fear that a lot of that garbage, sewage, let's call it what it is, sewage, is going down to Grand Anse, where we put our faces in. Oof. And I'm guilty of having done that. Yes, you know that I spent a lot of time on the beach, but I think it was back in August and early September with Sharon, yeah, and Carla. Anthony, I hope that our plays eventually stop falling on deaf ears. Ryan says, Telescope is our boyhood beach. Now, no more. Yeah, Ryan, that's really sad. TF says, most of the beach erosion in Grenada are man-made. I guess he meant man-made and caused, and then he stopped. Whatever, TF. Anthony says, the major crisis is being created by not having a wastewater treatment plant. So right, absolutely. And Anthony, I'm just not sure that people understand the importance of that. You know, we can find resources for so many other things which, while they may be nice to have, I'm not saying don't have a lot of the things that money is being spent on. But we have to learn to prioritize. Isn't that it? Learn to prioritize. Use the little bit that we have a lot better than we are right now. And things would look so differently, so much differently in this place. Arthur Langine says, I remember those days on that beach. Yum man, you too, eh, Arthur? Yeah. Days gone by, days gone by. I just pray that we don't see anything similar happening to the one beach that we've got, which is supposedly the world famous Grand Anse beach. Well, believe it or not, there's some people who are trying to destroy that. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I understand why people blame the foreigners for what's happening at Grand Anse Beach. Yes, that is true. They are making a mess of that environment. However, who gave the foreigners permission to create that concrete jungle that we're creating down there? And only yesterday, I learned that there's some more in the works. Yeah. Anthony Howard says, yachts are competing with Nawasa, releasing human waste into our coastal waters. Yeah, big time. Just a couple of weeks ago, I don't think I showed that to you, but somebody sent me a video of sewage from the yachts down at the Lansepine Beach. And you know, there's a 5-star hotel down there, the Calabash. And this stuff is washing up. God help us. Paul Richard John says, not putting him on the spot, but I'm pretty sure Dr. George Vincent may have some wise thoughts of the erosion problem. He was a very inspiring geography teacher back in my GBSS days on the very subject. Paul Richard, I know George, and you're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. You know something, my friend? George is not alone. There are a lot of other people here with brilliant, brilliant ideas on how we could make our lives a whole lot better. They're marginalized. One, because of egos, not theirs, but those of the authorities who think they know it all. Once you become a minister, man, hey, I'm it. You know what I'm talking about? The other reason, moolah, money. If I could make 2 cents, I don't give a damn if you lose your beaches. Heck with you. Those are the things that are so sad in this place. Just last night, I posted something on my website, GRENADABROADCAST.com. It's a tribute which Sandra Ferguson paid to 2 stalwarts. You know that we recently lost 2 very, very high-profile hoteliers here. One was a good friend of mine, a fellow student at Presentation College, Andre Sherman. And the other one was another friend of mine, Royston Hopkin. And we also lost another very important person, but this gentleman had more to do with agriculture than anything, Dennis Noel. The piece that Sandra wrote about Dennis, you know, pointed to the fact that here's a gentleman, very humble gentleman, who had some brilliant ideas as to how we could do so much better in the area of agriculture. And we just went to him. Well, Dennis is gone with his wisdom. Unfortunately, it's our loss. It's our loss. You know? Yeah. Hang in there. Okay, who else is there? Sharon says, the grabament, Grabament, the grabament will not listen to George Vincent. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Sharon. Yeah. Kipling Francis says, all we have is square pegs and round holes, nothing else. Ain't that sad, Kippy? Ain't that sad? We have to fight back. Let's not just come to Facebook here and YouTube and yada, 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 yada. Damn it, let's do something about it. Come on. T.F. Richard says, don't forget the filth on the carronage from our local boats and schooners. Oil, garbage. T.F., you had to bring that up, eh? Let me tell you something, bro. Margaret was here in Grenada a few weeks ago, earlier on this year. And Margaret and I went to have lunch at a little restaurant at the end of the carronage. It's called BB's Crabback. As we were walking back along the carronage, she said, George, you see that? See what? Look. She pointed to 2 things. One, an oil slick. Right there. I mean, you didn't have to swim out. Right there in the water on the carronage. You know what the second thing was? Poo-poo. You know what I'm talking about? Poo-poo. The boats that tie up there, dump it right in there. Ryan says, our Dennis Noel is sadly missed. Use his nutmeg spray for my arthritic pain. Hope his enterprise continues. I'm optimistic. Don't disappoint me, but I'm optimistic that it will. All right. I think that's it there for the time being. Okay. You can beep as much as you want. Okay, now, let's see here. Folks, have you ever taken the time to listen to the thoughts of our youngsters about what they're being taught in schools? You know, how many of you are guilty of saying to your kids, you know, Children should be heard and not seen, words to that effect. Yeah, if only we would listen. I'm sure that this next piece that I'm going to run will be of particular interest to Margaret as she wraps up her series on Black makers of history. I want you to listen carefully to this piece. It may open your eyes to some of the areas where our education system is falling short. Now, because of the accent of these kids in this short video here, may be a little bit difficult, and because they speak so fast, you know, kids have so much to say, they want to get everything out in one mouthful. But try and not just listen, but understand what they're saying.
Okay, so carrying on from our lesson last week, we were looking at the key divisions in the early stages of the civil rights movement and the general impact across the board. Sam, come on. Sit up straight. Right, stop slouching. This is the perfect opportunity for you to engage, so make the most of it.
Well, we learn the same stuff every year for Black History Month. Every single October, we learn the same things, either apartheid, slavery, or the civil rights. How many of you guys have actually learned something new these last years? See? That's what I mean.
Sam, this is our history. Come on, man.
No, seriously. Do you guys know anything about Ralph Bunche, the first black person to win a Nobel Prize? Or that the richest person ever lived was a black man named King Musa I of Mali? What about Ella Baker? What about Ella Baker? One of the most influential women of the civil rights movement. This is why I can't take Black History Month seriously, man.
But Samuel, the curriculum is designed to help you think about Black history critically.
Actually, miss, it's designed to teach us what to think, not how to think. For example, when that light switched, you taught us it was Thomas Edison who made that happen, when ironically it was actually a darker man who made that light flick, Lewis Latimer to be precise. Quite nice when you're talking about Mr. Hamilton and his racing car, but red light stopped. We're always taught that Martin Luther King had a dream, man. But those dreams can't be achieved because our brains are in chains, our minds are enslaved, so we won't get our redemption. Morgan, free, man. Will we ever be free, man? And leave this state of imprisonment? And take that walk of free, damn it, green man from a traffic light invented by the same man who made gas masks to protect our organs. Another free man named Garrett Morgan. But I bet you never knew that. We need to open our minds. But how can we be taught to see if the blind lead the blind? The first person to develop significant eye surgery was a black woman named Dr. Patricia E. Barth. Now on that note, there's a question I must ask. If this is a great opportunity to learn and be engaged about our past, why are we not actually being taught about our past? Transatlantic slavery, where we're taught Black history starts, but is it really? There seems to be a lot you haven't told us. And you shut down and hold back on the bold ones who stand against the way you're trying to mold us. Consistent enemies of progress. You're surprised because I know things you don't expect me to know yet. And when I tell you you're wrong for telling me about me, you call it a riot, while I call it a protest. The Broadwater Farm riots. The media exacerbate and make it seem like it's a bunch of delinquent youths on the streets, when really the first cause and trigger was death at the hands of the police. We cease to know information and the truth. And that's simply because you withhold information from the youth. Maybe. Maybe one day we'll be satisfied with how our knowledge of history equates. Well, I'm sure like me, you're waiting for the teacher to fill in that space. So do so then. No answer. Well, maybe I can help and just throw out there some names. Mary Seacole, a Crimean war nurse. Mary Prince, a black female author. To be precise, she was the first. Bernie Grant, influential local activist and respected MP. Trevor McDonald, one of the first black ITN journalists to hit the TV screen. Jamal Edwards and SBTV. And when Fuse ODG brought the Yozonto dance to the UK, and my foot swayed to the left and to the right like the wipers of a car's windscreen, and DJ Abrante brought Afro beats to the streets. See, it's funny when we think of our childhood memories. A man who was actually funny, Lenny Henry. Many others, and the list continues. Marcus Garvey, Haile Selassie, Bob Marley, Ignatius Sancho, Tupac, Fela Kuti, Muhammad Ali, Maya Angelou, R.I.P., Kwame Nkrumah, the first Ghanaian president who retained independence from England, the Windrush ship which brought Caribbeans to Britain. So much to learn in just 1 month. A tip of the iceberg, a tiny grace. And what was the first black Roman emperor's name? Years passed and we're still caught up in the same civil rights age, which isn't bad if you learn something new, but we don't. And we're not being taught enough about our culture, so there's no one else to blame but you. And if not you, then who? Questions, questions, questions. If you're not teaching us these things, then I'm inclined to believe it's because you don't know. No. You're the teacher. Your job is to teach, so you must know. And if you do, that must mean you don't want us to know, but that's low. If the information is accessible for our knowledge of our culture to grow, then why on earth wouldn't you want to let us know? Why are you focused so heavily on the influential but very few men and women who made things happen for us? Why are my people being highlighted for a predominantly negative past? Why do I know the things that you don't and I'm not the teacher, you are? Why are you focused on our negative past but not on our bright future? Why are you not abreast with the great young things that people are doing in this world? Why are young people's trademarks and stereotypes gang culture and young pregnant girls? Why are the young people not being given the time of day? And his name was Septimus Severus, by the way. I'm sure as a student, the code of conduct has been breached. So I'll stop here and let you do your job. So teach. Yo peoples, how's it going? It's your boy Samuel King. This is my poem, What I Wasn't Taught in School. And you're watching Word on the Curve.
I hope that's brought about a little change in our hearts towards youngsters, especially when it comes to education. Pilgrims, let me tell you what, we've gone, 38 minutes without a break. Let me take a little break here, and when we come back, black makers of history, and then we're really gonna lighten up. I mean, lighten up. Actually, we're gonna start lightening up with black makers of history because you're gonna be learning some really good stuff there in just a wee bit. Hang on.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try their sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
One more over the road. Look, I find you had a little too much to drink, you know. Let me drive. Nah, man, I good.
Alcohol causes drowsiness, slow response time, distorted vision, impaired decision-making, blackouts, decreased coordination. Drinking water does not make you less drunk. Never drink and drive. It takes only a second.
Look, I'm really sorry.
Sorry? Sorry can't bring back my sister. You've been drinking. I can smell it. Why?
This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Together with you, our customers, we energize our community.
Together with you, we energize our economy.
We are working together to give our nation a better tomorrow.
With you, we energize our future. Together, we energize our nation.
Thank you for partnering with us as we energize our Speyside.
Renlec, energizing our Grenada.
Okie dokie, folks. 18 minutes away from the hour, 10 o'clock. And let's continue our little jaunt here this morning. Today's edition of Black Makers of History zooms in on another Jamaican, Dr. Robert Rashford. He's an aerospace engineer who has certainly made a name for himself in his field. And a very competitive field it is, in which only a very few stand out.
Celebrating Black Makers of History.
Today's Black Maker of History is Robert Rashford. Robert Rashford is another Caribbean national with a passion for space. The son of Jamaica is an internationally known aerospace engineer who designs and builds hardware for use in outer space. Rashford has provided tools for some of the most exciting space programs, including Hubble and James Webb Space Telescopes and the International Space Station. He is the founder of Genesis Engineering Solutions, a premier aerospace and technology provider which designs and makes flight hardware for space. His passion for space was ignited after seeing the first humans land on the moon. Rashford was part of a team that worked on repairing and restoring 20/20 vision to the Hubble telescope. He has also designed highly complex engineering systems that successfully flew on board NASA's manned spaceflight programs. Additionally, Rashford co-invented the world's first portable real-time 3D NDE system, which detects flaws in aircraft components. He is currently designing and developing a single-person spacecraft for use in future space missions and space tourism. For his wide-ranging work, Rashford has received many awards, including 4 NASA Achievement Awards for his work on the Upper Atmosphere Research Satellite and the Hubble Space Telescope. He encourages youngsters to focus on math, physics, chemistry, biology, because Okie dokie, folks. Hold on. Time for you to say goodbye. There we go. Okay, folks. Yeah. Running a little bit behind time now, so let's keep scooting along here. This year's Work-boat Regatta was held on the 1st and 2nd of February down at Grandance. And once again, it was a blast for both the participants and spectators alike. I want to extend my congratulations and thanks to Artie Martin, who works down at the True Blue Bay Resort, for once again capturing the fun and excitement of this event. Pilgrims, no spoken word in here, just watch some of the excitement that took place down there on the 1st and 2nd of February. Check it out.
Original champion is back, and I do that for me brother Lennon. Yeah.
Alrighty, folks, there you have it. Fun, 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 fun. I wasn't there this year, but it's a great event, great event. If you have a chance, try and make it down next year. Now, there were a number of comments that were posted about a couple of the previous pieces we did, and I think that they're important enough that I pause here for just a minute and go back to share at least some of them with you. Just let me see if I can scroll back here. Harry Gibson is saying, greetings, Brother George, God bless. Hey, thanks, Harry. Anthony Howard says, we need to do better with our finances. And he's absolutely right about that. Do you know what we were talking about earlier on? Okay, hold on a minute. George is scrolling here. Well, where are we? Okay. Yes, getting back to the sewage that's being dumped into the sea and making its way down to Grand Anse. Anthony Howard says, let's do something about it. Let's start testing the water and force a moratorium on construction of new high-density construction. Good idea. Hope it's not falling on deaf ears, Anthony. You're going to have to convince me otherwise. He says, until a wastewater treatment plant is built. Yeah, got you there. Good morning, Claude. Good morning, Kennedy. Then about that piece we did with the teacher and the students. Ryan says, teacher needs to adjust her lesson plan to incorporate and engage students' views and seek learning opportunities. Ain't that the truth? Hello, I haven't seen this young man in a long, long time. Colvin, Cool Kid Harry. Hello, Colvin, good to see you. He's saying hello, Mr. Grant. Well, good morning to you, sir. Margaret Francis says, awesome piece. She's talking about that piece with a teacher and student. She says, awesome piece. That is exactly it. We are more than slavery and civil rights. We have had and still have great thinkers, scientists, inventors, educators, physicians, writers, and the list goes on. But that's what happens when you only have one person telling the story. We got to teach the youths right, because ain't nobody going to do it for us. Thank you, Margaret. I expected a reaction from you on that. Peter Bernard, good morning. Albie Patterson, Eversley, good morning. Sharon Roberts responds here by saying, teacher needs to know it is okay to ask the students what they would like to share about Black history. You'll be surprised to hear what young people know. Absolutely, Sharon, absolutely. Anthony Howard is asking, is that piece on my website? No, it isn't, Anthony, but it will be once this program is up, because it's going to be in today's program. So it's going to be there. You can go on back and check it out. Margaret says, Sharon, it's more than a teacher allowing students to participate. It's about the content of the education and what it is designed to do. When we are not part of the conversation in how our story is told, you will get that kind of stuff being taught to our kids. Heavy stuff, Megs. Is it any wonder that we, as a people, are like a ship without a rudder? Amen, Megs? Whew. Boy, am I glad I played that. Maria Saint-Bernard, good morning. Gordon Tellisford, good morning. Anthony Howard says, Margaret says, lovely video. So you're coming down for the festival next year, Max? Anthony Howard says, looking forward to great events like this when I move back to Grenada. We miss a whole lot of living out here in the diaspora. Get your butt back here, folks. Grenada needs you. You're sitting there and watching all the mess we're having here in spite of the nice things that are happening, and those are the things I'm trying to capture, yeah, come on back and help me, please. Come on back. Now, chocolate time. Chocolate time. Let me see if I can pull this up here. Again, this piece is really short, but I got to show it to you. Really, really short. Grenada, hold on a sec. You know, sometimes you go to the beach. You got your swim trunks on. But you know that somewhere at some point you're probably going to want to get a roti, a hamburger, a beer, or whatever. So you stick a couple of bills in your swim trunks, okay? No problem. You then go up to a restaurant or a bar or whatever, make your purchase. You give the cashier your money, your bills, okay? And he comes back with a handful of change, coins. What are you wearing? Are your swim trunks? Where do you put that bundle of coins? Watch. I'm sorry, why am I apologizing? I couldn't resist that. I knew you would smile. I couldn't resist it. You missed it? One more time. I love the expressions on the faces of the people sitting on those beach chairs. All right, folks, okay, let's get back to business here. Quick break and then the national report.
Inspection and licensing have begun, and at Hubbard's, we want you to be ready. From January to February 15th, we're offering vehicle owners with single registration letters 1 to 2,500 and plural registration letters 1 to 250, 10% off our new torque tires and Power Max batteries. Don't get caught unprepared. Visit us today at our motor department in Mungay or our tire bay in Grandance, located near Hubbard's Building Supplies.
Juve chocolates, cocoa nibs, and cocoa balls from Diamond Estate Grenada are now available at Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.co.uk, and GrenadaMarket.com. Try the sensational touch of nutmeg and a touch of ginger chocolates, 75% dark and rich, 100% pure cocoa, and their 60% dark and sweet chocolate bars today. Amazon Prime members enjoy free shipping on these orders in the USA, Canada, and Europe. GrenadaMarket.com. When you can't come to the island, the products of the island will come to you.
Grenada, 1795. One man with a sense of destiny.
Tonight we stand our ground. Tonight we stand on the side of history.
14,000 slaves with a dream and a promise. Julian Fedor, a Heritage Theatre production, written and directed by Chris DeRiggs, 28th and 29th March, 4th and 5th April at the Trade Center.
People was not made to live like this. It's like we have a cause.
Julian Fedor, an action-packed historical drama.
I see blood falling from the sky, falling up that mountain river, flowing from Belvedere Hills. I see blood.
4 big nights of theater, the play the nation has been waiting to see, with Samuel Gilvey, Lisa Grappy James, Robert White, Dale Devine, and other top-of-the-line acting talents. Opening Saturday, 28th March. Get your tickets now.
I'm always on the move. Training, traveling, competing. So it's good to know I have Quad Bank in the palm of my hand.
Introducing e-banking, one of many customer convenience services from Grenada Cooperative Bank. And there's more to come.
It's swift, simple, and secure.
Welcome home.
Okay, looky, just before I fire up the GIS, there's a little note that came in here which really caught my attention. T.F. Richards says here, George, the New York chapter of your class really needs to meet up. Mags, Anthony, myself, Peter, and all of the other folks. You know, that grabbed my attention, huh? Doesn't take much to turn me on, eh? Well, I'll tell you what, TF, I think that's a wonderful idea. And you know what? I would like to suggest that we set up a little chat. I'm sure that each of you has a smartphone or a laptop with a camera on it. Mags knows how we do this because she's on with us all the time. And we can set up a little conference call one of these days when we're not, one of these days or nights, as long as it's not a Thursday night, when we can have a chat and, you know, maybe sort of arrange for you guys to sort of get together for a little tete-a-tete one of these days. How about that? Okay? I'm going to send out an email to you, and actually you can let me know. Just let me know what you guys think. I haven't seen Peter this morning, but I'm not sure Anthony is there. But if you guys are, just let me know if you're amenable to setting up a chat. You can type it right there on Facebook, and I'll get the message and I will arrange for all of us to chat. You don't need anything special. Hey, right there, Margaret says, I'm game. Good, Margaret. Okay, so Mags and TF, I'm assuming you're in, eh? Mags and TF are in. Now I got to send a note to Anthony and Peter, and if there are any others in the New York area who would probably like to get together, you know, just for an hour or so one day and we'll talk, hey, let me know. Put a note there, just like Margaret. TF says, I'm in. 2 down. We need to hear from the others. I will send you a note telling you how we're going to do this. Deal? Deal. Okay, now, business. GIS, and listen, they have new music this morning.
Ministry of Health quarantines a 5th person at Grenada's airport. Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the details to the news for Friday, February 21st, I am Rakisha St. Louis. A Grenadian student who returned home from mainland China this afternoon was placed in quarantine after health officials identified the student as a person of interest based on established guidelines and protocols in response to the COVID-19. On arrival, the individual was met by a team of public health officials from the Ministry of Health and was escorted to the Port Health at the Maurice Bishop International Airport, where the relevant actions were taken. This brings to 5 the total number of persons quarantined so far. GIS can confirm that the Ministry of Health and the Maurice Bishop International Airport have enhanced their surveillance protocols so that active surveillance is carried out to ensure that the system can identify and detect travelers of interest. The government of Grenada is taking the threat of COVID-19 very seriously and as such has taken several measures aimed at protecting the country and its citizens. The Ministry of Health reiterates that all safety measures and protocols currently being implemented are intended to safeguard the best health interest of all Grenadians and non-Grenadians. The Ministry of Health commends all frontline personnel engaged in this national public health response and reiterates its fullest support for them. Meanwhile, health authorities are reminding the general public that while the risk for Grenada remains low, they should continue to exercise caution and practice proper hygiene and follow the advice of the Health Ministry. Over the past few days, health officials released 3 persons who were in quarantine in keeping the mandatory 14-day quarantine protocol guidelines. UN trade and development experts have commended Grenada on its implementation rate of the World Trade Organization's Trade Facilitation Agreement. Grenada has already implemented 75% of measures leading to implementation since becoming a signatory in 2014. This was revealed at the closing of a trade empowerment training program held this week as Grenada continues to find ways to improve the way it is doing business, especially cross-border trade. Alexandre Laroche-Malty, who is attached to the UN Conference on Trade and Development, commended Grenada for an excellent job on implementing measures to improve the standard of trade.
The first part was about finalizing the National Trade Facilitation Roadmap for Grenada. The second part on Wednesday and Thursday was about training the trainers. So those were local trade facilitation champions that will be certified by UNCTAD to train the future new members of the committee.
The next focus, he says, is to ensure compliance.
Grenada has done a lot of work already. About 73% of the measures of the Trade Facilitation Agreement of the WTO have been already implemented in Grenada, according to Grenada's notifications to the WTO. So there are some measures under Category B requiring some period of transition. Grenada will be able to implement those by itself, just needs some additional time. And then few other measures, about 8 measures, will need some financial and technical assistance in addition to a period of transition to make sure that Grenada will be able to implement those. So in the future, in the upcoming months, Grenada will be submitting requests for assistance and financial and technical assistance to make sure that Grenada becomes compliant with those measures.
Director of Trade Junior Mahan is happy that Grenada is ahead of others in terms of implementation. He says national consultations will be held in the coming months and years as there is still time to improve Grenada's doing business ranking.
Based on our submission to the WTO in terms of our implementation period, we have implementation dates of 2021 to 2028. To implement those commitments, and during that time we will be having intensive consultation at the national level through the National Trade Facilitation Committee to implement those commitments. One of the things that we'll be looking at is seeking donor assistance to implement those commitments that we need technical and financial assistance to implement as we move forward.
This is the National Report. We'll have more news after the break.
Kayak Mass 2020. February 15th to February 25th. An array of events making one spectacular carnival. Saturday, February 15th. Children Mass, Frolic, and the Big Show. Thursday, February 20th. Queen Show Night. February 21st. Soca Monarch. Saturday, 22nd. Jab Convention. Calypso and Groovy. Sunday, February 23rd. Monday, Juve and Monday Night Mass. Tuesday, February 25th. Shakespeare Mass. And the Last Lap. All the major MCs and DJs will be inside Kayak Mass 2020. Make reservations and book now.
Welcome back. 52 young men and women have been fully certified in life skills and other training as they graduated from the Fostering Level-Headed Youth Program, FLY. The graduation was held at the St. Andrews Anglican Secondary School on Thursday, February 20th, and was fully funded by the government of Grenada. This project seeks to provide training in soft and direct skills areas to at-risk youth in various communities. The joint graduation ceremony for participants of Mamacan and Pearl St. Andrew who participated in the project. They were presented with their certificates of accomplishment following 3 months of intense life skills training in numeracy, literacy, small business, and 3 months of CVQ certification in general construction and commercial food preparation. All participants will also receive CVQ certificates from the National Training Agency, the NTA. Honorable Kate Lewis, in addressing the participants, commended their efforts and implored upon them to be agents of change despite the many challenges of the project. Project FLY is an integrated one-year community-based training program targeting 25 at-risk youth, ages 18 to 30 years old. Finally in the news, the combined communities of Belmont, Bellevue and Harveyville in Carriacou are still savoring the sweet taste of victory after their representative, Miss Naomi Fraser, walked away with the title of Carriacou Carnival Queen on Thursday night.
Some learned to listen. Some understood the beat but didn't move. Some moved irrespective of the complexity of the rhythm. We all have to dance to the rhythm of the drum. From Master to liberation, unto freedom, education, and production. Let the drums roll.
Ms. Fraser and 4 other young ladies graced the stage for their introduction in swimwear, carnival costume, talent, and evening gown. Lily Alexander from Soubise is first runner-up, and Donette Peters from Grenville is the second runner-up. The other 2 participants were April Coutain from Brunswick and Theresa Richards from Wynwood. Tonight is soca action at the Hillsborough Tennis Court. 11 artists will seek to dethrone reigning monarch King Killer B. On Sunday, Groovy and Calypso will take center stage. The defending Groovy monarch is Golden, and the defending Calypso monarch is Killer B. We wish all the artists all the best. That story just ended the national report for today, Friday, February 21st. Let's cap the top story. Ministry of Health quarantines a 5th person at Grenada's airport. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us. Until next time.
Conveniently located in the Grandand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grenadans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. The safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep,
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, neighbor.
Here's the bill I asked you to pay for me.
How did you get your electricity bill to be so low?
For one, we size our transformers just for what we need. And we unplug transformers, chargers, and other devices when they're not in use. We also replaced our light bulbs with LEDs.
They burn less energy, right?
Much less. I even replaced the seal on my refrigerator door to keep the cold air in.
And Grenlec is always advising us not to open the fridge too often.
That's right. And my family washes and irons in bulk.
With fuel prices changing all the time, how do you know if it is working?
We pay attention to the usage history table. Over time, our average usage has decreased.
So while Grenada can't control fuel prices, I can conserve energy and save money.
Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Alrighty, folks, time to bail. It's 18 minutes after the hour. Parting word from the Holy Scriptures. Psalm 37, verses 35 to 40. Inspirational, believe me. I have seen a wicked and ruthless man flourishing like a luxuriant native tree. But he soon passed away and was no more. Though I looked for him, he could not be found. Consider the blameless, observe the upright. A future awaits those who seek peace. But all sinners will be destroyed. There will be no future for the wicked. The salvation of the righteous comes from the Lord. He is their stronghold in times of trouble. The Lord helps them and delivers them. He delivers them from the wicked and saves them because they take refuge in him. Check it out. Psalm 37, 35 to 40. Pilgrims, it's been a great morning. I have had fun, and I get the feeling that you did as well. And for those of you who were late in showing up, like Pele and Ricardo, guys, once this program ends, stick around. It's going to be up there on Facebook. And later on, it's going to, within the next half hour or so, it's going to be up on Grenada Broadcast and on YouTube. Having said that, I send you God's blessings. I hope you have a wonderful day. And by His grace, we shall reassemble tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. God bless.